Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of
Latin voices.
Voices.
So today we have a special guest. He is originally from the island of Jamaica, but currently residing in Ontario, Canada. But before we bring him to the studio, we're going to introduce ourselves. So, hi, everyone. For those who doesn't know me, my name is Sandy. I'm originally from Panama. I reside in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, and I work in the movie industry, and I'm a digital business owner.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Jessie. I'm a nurse by professional. I live in Ontario, Canada, but I'm original from Cuba, and I'm also a digital business owner. So yes,
Thank you,
Hello,
Jesse.
hello. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. My name is Isabel. I'm originally from Mexico. I live here in North Carolina, USA. I work for the school system as a teacher assistant, but I also have my digital business. I am married and I have 3 kids.
Thank you, Isabel. Okay, so before we bring our guests, let's just remind you that every Tuesday and every Thursday we have our live webinars. So that will be usually happening at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. And just to show you, if you want to catch up the replay from this Thursday, these were our hosts and panelists.
Okay, so this last Thursday, our host was Rebecca. She's a buyer and planner. We have May. She's a health admin assistant. Tina, she's a registered nurse. And Alma, she's also a registered nurse.
also on the panelist was Maida. She's the OR nurse. Abisco, she's a former public school teacher. Joyce, a full-time mom, and Jonathan, a registered nurse. So if you want to see all the insights that all these people share in how to start your own business, that was our last Thursday. Was a free webinar, but you can watch the replay. We can send it to you if you register. So just to remind you, if you want to watch new ones, it's coming up next week, Tuesdays and Thursday, or live free webinar, 8 p.m. EST or 5 p.m. PDT.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Jesse. And we have a comment. Thank you for watching, Naida Duque. She's watching from Bahrain, 5 p.m. Saturday there. Happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday. Hi, Naida.
Thank you for watching.
Yes. Okay, so let's bring our guest to the studio.
Woo!
Jermaine, thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me on this morning just to share a little bit about my story with you, with your audience. My hope is that, in the few, however long we're here, my story will inspire someone, maybe they have questions about the online space, just like many of us before we started. So the hopes is just, I can provide some value to your listeners.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, most definitely. So my name is Jermaine Lewis. I'm originally from the island of Jamaica. Currently living in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada, with my family. My wife Simone and I, we run this online business together. I'm a heavy-duty equipment operator by profession, so I still work a full-time job and I run this business part-time. I'm a father of 3 boys, and a proud digital business owner. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jermaine. Okay, so let's start with the questions.
All right, Jeremy. Just want to let you know, first of all, we're in the same city. I'm in Oshawa too. So it's just amazing how this business, even if you are close, like how many people are involved, how many people have changed life this business. So good. Are you ready for the questions? So
Ready?
how do you come across this business opportunity?
So my online business journey started in 2020, and call it accident, call it divine appointment, because I wasn't really looking for an online business opportunity, but I just so stumbled up on it, 1 year after one of our sons, went through this experience where, healthy kid, and one day out of the blues, we got a call from the daycare that, he wasn't feeling well, something was definitely wrong. They had called the ambulance and that we needed to come, my wife and I. So, we were both at work at the time when we got the call. And so we had to drop everything. And of course, it's our son. So we rushed there, but long story short, over the next couple of days, he was admitted in the hospital, and as I said, this was something that was not planned, was not expected. At the time, my wife had just started a job, and because he was in the hospital, we had no idea how long we were going to be there. So my wife had to quit that job just to be there because he was about 2.5 years old at the time, and our youngest son was about 18 months. So they're babies, right? So we needed to be there. So I took unpaid time off from my job just to be there and support, with my family, of course, in the hospital. And that we ended up spending a total of 3 weeks in the hospital. Now, during that time, that was a wake-up call for us, and this is our story. I've always shared that it was a wake-up call for us because we can just be going to work, paying the bills, and but it takes something sometimes that we do not expect to kind of, it's like a wake-up call for us to realize, hey, where we are, and so we had some time to evaluate where we were financially. We did not have an emergency plan. We did not have a backup plan. Whatever little savings we had, we quickly went through that pretty quickly, and so we had family and friends helping us out while we were there, cooking for us, that kind of stuff. But it made us realize that we needed to look for a backup plan. We needed to do something different because, we were both working, right, but we had little to no savings at all. So we needed to, in the event something happened again, we had something in the background for us. And so, that was 2019. 2020 was when I stumbled upon an ad talking about an online business. And, the couple story inspired me because they shared how they were in debt, and how within a fairly short period of time, the online business that they were doing helped them to clear that debt. And so that inspired me. And I wanted to learn more about this online business opportunity. So as skeptical and afraid as I was, their story was so genuine and inspiring that I took that leap of faith and I clicked on their ad and I registered for the workshop, the webinar that you guys were talking about earlier. And that's how I came across and was introduced to this incredible opportunity that I'm a part of today.
Yeah. So yes, it's amazing to hear your history, and it really touched, to everyone. It get to the point that you have, like how you say, that wake up call, and it's good to hear it. It's good to know when you have that wake up call. Sometimes you feel comfortable. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm good with this job. I kill it. I have my 9 to 5. I'm making a good money. But if it's something happen, are you secure? That's the question that we have to ask us. If it's something happen, like a life happen, at work, or your 9 to 5, or the things that you're doing now, do you have a plan? How you know where your finances are at right now? Like, can you afford if you are off of work? So when you have that thinking and you see yourself and something happened in your life and you look at it and you realize it, that there's not enough, then you have to start looking for something else. Then you have to have a backup plan. Then you have to see where your finances are. And if that's your case, what do I do? How do I change it? So that's what it make it realize. On my case, I'm a nurse. I was making a good money in 2020. COVID started. But the thing is, I was working all the time. I was doing doubles, triples, extra chef, but I was on my phone all the time to try to pick up the chef. So I didn't have a life. You know what I mean? I didn't have time for myself or for my family, and that was really hard. It was really hard on us, no? And that's when I realized, oh, I need something else. This is no way of living. And even my workers, they have 2 to 3 jobs as a nurse. So I was like, okay, I need a little bit of extra. I need to work. I need a second job, but I don't want nothing to relate it with nursing. I'm drained. It's taking too much from me. So I was like, oh, And then I realized that the business came toward me, and I was like, okay, why not? Let me try. It's online, give me all the flexibility. I can do it at home. So I give it a try. I'm still here. So thank you so much for sharing your history with
Yes.
your family. It's just amazing how we realize it, how many wake up calls do we have. And that's the important thing is, yeah, you have to do something about it and how you did it. You make a choice, you realize that you were in that situation and you went for it. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, yeah. I think, and I think the key takeaway there is, you don't have to wait for, the wake up call to happen, right? It's being proactive versus being reactive, right? It's putting that plan in place because we understand that the job is not secure. You can just on any given day you can lose that job. Companies that happen in companies every time. So that's the key takeaway there is that we don't have to wait for that wake up call, that thing to say, hey, I need to put something, a plan in place. We're smart people, so we just do that. We're proactive so that we can say, thank God we had this, right? It's like a safety net almost, right?
Yes. Ah. Yeah, what you said is so powerful because as parents, I completely understand what you were telling us, because we're always so focused on working, on bringing home, the money to provide for our families. And we spend so much time out. Working for somebody else, and we make so many sacrifices as far as when they offer overtime, or sometimes you don't even have the choice, you have to do the overtime, and that's more time away from your family, and then you say your kids are young. My kids are grown now, and I work so many hours for so many years away from my family because I was so focused on making the money. For me, I don't know, my mindset was what wasn't where it is now, and money was like the one thing I was chasing, and I miss so much time with my kids. And now, I feel bad and I feel guilty that I didn't provide my kids with quality time. And I have one that is already married. I have one that is in her last year of college, and my little one is already in his first year of high school. And I feel bad that um, all their little milestones that they were doing, when they were started walking, when they were talking, all those precious moments. I can't go back to that anymore. But this is why we have to be proactive, like you said, and look for something else, and look for a way where we can earn, additional income, but while being with our family, being there with them, doing it from home, and sharing those moments that are not going to come back anymore. And, once they're gone, they're gone. And there's nothing we can do. But, you said that people or companies keep cutting jobs and people keep losing jobs. And the other thing too, you never know when you're going to have a health problem, so you have to be proactive, and you have to really take action and look for something that you have, that plan B, that you have that in place before you need it. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
My backgrounds, yeah. Thank you. For me, my background is in the movie industry, so we work long hours, and we don't have like set hours because it varies according to the shooting. Like if it is nighttime or daytime. So um, because of that, I missed so many family events. At the time, my brother and his family were here, and when they were celebrating birthdays, if the birthday fall during the week, I wasn't able to be there because I was at work and I couldn't ask permission, to go for the job. So the way that I found this business, it was because there was a strike last year, and usually when there is a strike, there's usually like not too long, but the strike lasted like 8 months. So by the month of July, I realized that I needed to find something else. So that's when I started to look for something. Even though I was starting to look before, but I think sometimes setbacks bring you to the right place. So this is what happened to me. because of this setback, I was able to find this YouTube ad, same as you. And then I saw it, and then I saw what I like. I watched the webinar, and then after that, I paid the 149, and I saw the rest, and then it checked all the boxes that I was looking for. Because I've been doing other kinds of passive incomes like print on demand, and was a YouTube channel, but that takes time, and the income, is not the beginning, like print on demand is really hard to get money from that. Um, so when I found this and I saw, the potential of the business, I say, okay, this is for me. And then after that, like 10 days, I was able to join the Calgary convention, and I saw the community, and that made me even more, I fell in love with what I saw, like the support and it's like a second family for you, and I really love it. Okay, so the second question.
Okay, Jermaine, did you have any doubt at first? What advice would you give to those who are skeptical or those who have skeptical partners?
Yeah, so the first part of your question, if I had any doubts at first, yeah, most definitely. I've never done anything in the online space before, and an ad popped up on my feed, and here, is this couple, that I don't know, right? All I know was that their story was inspiring enough, and so in the back of my mind, of course, I'm thinking, is this thing legit? If it's real, right? So even when I clicked and I attended the webinar, in my mind, I was like, these people are scammers, right? That's what's going through my mind. I'm like, because you're hearing information, you're learning about a business, and you're hearing how it's transforming people's lives, right? And if when you're just used to, go working a job, that's not something that you see, right? A job is not going to just transform your life, especially financially, right? So when I heard people talking about how the business had been transforming their life, I thought for sure, like, there's nothing, this can't be real, right? The results was just like, out of the norm of what you're used to, right? So I'm like, these people are scammers, right? But I think the fact that I know that we needed to do something different, and I figured, I do not have anything to lose, right? $149 investment was like, okay, if they scam me $149, big deal, right?
Yeah.
So I chose over fear. Now, skeptical is normal as well. I think that for all of us sitting here, I haven't heard in my 4 years I've been in this online business, I haven't heard anyone who said they were not skeptical, right? There are so many scams out there, of course. So when you come across something, right, especially in the online space, you're going to be skeptical for sure. So that's 100% normal. So having a skeptical spouse now. So my wife Simone was a bit more skeptical than I was. So when I found the opportunity, it was for her to stay home with the kids, and because I'm thinking something she came from home. The kids, our son came out of the hospital, and we did not want to put him back into a daycare. So my idea was, I would go to work, and I would work, and she could stay home, and look after the kids. And this is something that she can do from home. It's online. So I presented the opportunity to her, but she was a bit more skeptical than I was. And before they're doing this business, we were doing another business offline, and I think we invested maybe 5 years of our time into that, and it wasn't as lucrative, or what we had expected. That didn't turn out to be. So she thought, for sure we were going to start another one of those things, and waste another 5 years, right? So she had all of those reservations, but though she was skeptical, she respected my decision as her, as a spouse, to say, hey, babe, I'm not sure about this thing, but if you feel good about it, you have my support, right? And so as a coach in this community, I always get people, and I always ask, do you have a spouse? Are your is the spouse aware that you're venturing or looking into going into the online space? Where is their mindset? Are they supportive? Because I understand as well that's very important. And what I'm trying to say is that, even though my wife was more skeptical than me, she also respected my decision and my choice to say, hey, I wasn't somebody that was going to just jump into something that was careless and reckless, right? So she trusted my decision. And so if you have a spouse that is skeptical, you can have that conversation to say, hey, babe, you know what? I think this thing can work for us, and I really need your support. Even though you're skeptical, I really need your support. You can talk about it and have a conversation, right? And the spouse may be skeptical, but still, respectful of the other one to say, hey, you know what? I respect your decision in this. Whatever you choose to do, you have my support.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. When I found this opportunity as well, I had my doubts, but I really liked everything that I was seeing on that. The ad really got my attention. And then once I paid the 149, of course, after the webinar, I was more into it. I was like, oh yeah, this is what I've been looking for. But before I paid that though, I questioned myself too, like, okay, what if this is a scam? And I was like, well, can you afford to lose $149? And I was like, yes, you can do that, because $149 really is nothing. You spend that money, doing whatever, something that is not going to give you anything in return. So I was like, okay, go ahead and pay that. And then once I saw the webinar, I was really in love with everything I saw. And then after, you keep getting those automated emails, that I kept reading them, and I was like, more and more like, it was to the point where I couldn't sleep thinking about it, thinking about, I need to do this. This is what I've been looking for. But then my husband didn't think the same way as I did, and he didn't think that this was a legit business. He thought that it was just a scam, and he's like, "You're gonna get yourself a scam, so no, don't do it." And then, it got to the point where, like I said, I couldn't sleep on it anymore, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna invest in this business and see how it comes out, because I really felt like this was what I was looking for. So I went with the feeling I had, and everything that I liked about it really gave me the inspiration to take that next step. And so I did the business. And then, I told my husband when my product arrived, because he asked me, he said, "What is that big box?" And I said, "Well, I joined the business that we talked about." And he said, "Well, okay, well, you just have to commit to it. You have to really, invest time and follow this that you have started." And he gave me his support since that day. And now, he's very supportive of everything I do. But it was a big decision for me. And, he wasn't really convinced. But now he's happy for me, because he has seen all the changes and everything that I have done personally, and he's happy, with everything that's happening with the business. So yes.
Okay, so let's go with the third question. Okay, so for people who say they don't have the time, what would you say to them?
This is something that I hear all the time, and it may be a legit reason. I don't think people are just, oh, I don't have the time, right? We have so much things vying for our attention. I truly believe that the system is just designed to keep us busy and distracted, right? And so there's 101 things that needs to get done in a day, and there's only 24 hours in the day, and so this is legit, right? But I think that because we're online, and we can take our business on the go with us, right? So I think maybe, instead of, because sometimes we may think of like a job. We're going to the job and we're committing 8 hours, 10 hours, however long our shift is, right? So we may have the same mindset that we maybe need to sit down at our computer, right, or on our phones for a certain amount of hours during that day. And so if that's the case, I don't have the time for that. But the thing is that because our business is so flexible, and it's mobile, so the whole idea is that, however through the day you can carve out maybe 15 minutes, a half an hour, maybe waking up a little bit earlier if you have to, and jumping on your laptop and investing 15 minutes or a half an hour, in your training in the beginning while you get up, or maybe, at work, if you have a half an hour for lunch, or, an hour for lunch or whatever, setting aside maybe 15 minutes to be on your phone, right? And then coming home, and just before you go to bed, or however you can however you can arrange your day in such a way that you're carving out some time for the business, right? Because we're not asking you to drop everything and just devote all of your time to the business, no. But we're saying that when you're doing something, especially a business like ours that has a potential that can change the very thing that you're looking for, which is time freedom, then in the beginning you sacrifice and you make the time for it. So it all becomes, priority, right? And it's amazing sometimes. The hardest thing is like sometimes looking from the outside in, it seems like we don't have the time. But when we jump in, right, and then the business is like priority because you understand what it can give you and your family. And so you begin to evaluate all the things that you might have done to do throughout the day. But then you find that you may be able to shift a little bit of your priorities, right? Because we wake up and we have so much things, but we don't accomplish all of those things in the day. And it's not the end of the world. We can pick up where we left off tomorrow. And so it's the same thing. So I think the first important step is to start the business first. And then once you understand the priority and what it can brings you, right, then you are able now to fit that into your time versus saying I don't have the time, right? But you don't know how you can how you can actually carve those time out throughout your day to invest in the business.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because like people always say like some of the businessmen to say you have 24 hours out of the day, so you cannot say that you don't have the time because you can allocate and your time for every activity that you want to do. So I do understand, like when we started the business and we transition from what we usually do, like either a job or whatever, and then we just start doing the business, a little bit difficult at the beginning to adjust because this is something new that is coming into your life, right? But like you say, there's also many things that we are doing that are not very, like they don't give you any return back. For example, like if you're watching Netflix, I mean, you're just wasting time there watching. That you can instead of watching Netflix, you can do a little bit of your training. So for people who say that they don't have time, you have to take, like you mentioned, see what is the priority. And I've seen moms, that are doing the business. They have little kids and that. So they do the business, while the little kid is napping, or sometimes, when they went to bed like at 9, they do the business when they're sleeping. So there's always a way. It's just a matter of organizing yourself, and allocate time for everything. And you can do your business anywhere because that's the beauty of this business, that the flexibility that it goes with your personal life, or your business life. So you can change it just a little bit here in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, a little bit in the evening. So yeah, so there's always time.
It all comes it all comes down to sacrifice, because whether this business or any business, we do certain things in our lives, and we just have to sacrifice some of the things that we may, the instant gratification, some things that we may need right now, but it's not really important, right? But the very thing that you want is time. If you don't have time now, that's the very thing that you want, right? It's our most valuable resource, and that's what you want. So you have to say, how can I, if I don't have the time now, how can I afford, how can I get this time? And if this business promises me the potential that I can have all that time in my life, what am I willing to sacrifice to get that? And it's a season, it's just for a season, right? So you make yourself uncomfortable, you make the sacrifices just for a season, understanding that it's a down payment, is an investment, to a season where now you're going to have all the time that you want, right? That you don't have right now, because it's never going to change, right? You need the time freedom, right? Because you're sacrificing some of the time. Your family is being sacrificed, right? Your time away from them, right, to do whatever it is taking your time right now, and you don't want that, and you feel guilty, even though going to the job we're doing it for our families, but we're sacrificing time away from them, time with our family, right? But we want that. So how can I have both? How can I have the time, to spend with my family, right, and to do all of these things? So I'm going to make myself uncomfortable, and I'm going to sacrifice on some things that I want right now. I'm going to put it on hold for a season, because I understand we are it can help me to purchase, the life that I want.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is a little bit of sacrifice just at the beginning, but then after that, we're gonna have lots of time to spend with our family. So that's the beauty of this. You wanted to add something
Yes.
before, Jesse? I kind of saw.
No, I just was almost the same thing that Jeremiah say. I just want to just say one thing on this topic about time. We all have 24 hours, on the day. We are like, each person is different. It's all about all time management. And that's one thing, because that show you on this business, it's not just about earning money, it's just showing you skills on life, So when you learn this, you say, okay, time management, but it's just also the flexibility. We can give 7 to 8 hours to someone to work for someone, but how can we have at least half an hour to work for ourselves, to make money for ourselves, to make a better future for ourselves, So I'm cooking. Okay, let me put on the, instead of put in music or listen to the TV or something like that, let me watch the webinar, or let me put a video on mindset, and so you are doing that at the same time, because that's the good thing about this business, because it's online. It's the flexibility that give you. You can do other things at the same time that you're doing the business, and watching the kids. How many times, or how many of us, let's be guilty, how many of us have spent half an hour on Facebook going up and down to see what other people are doing and connecting with families and friends? Like, yes, let's do that, but at the same time, let me answer some questions to people that are asking me about the business. Let me send a message to this person. Let me check my ads. That is always the flexibility that the business give you, because it's online. It's different from having a real business. Like, when we say real business, we're talking about like the comparison between the online business to other business out there, like a franchise. Because if you have a restaurant, just for example, or a store, you have to actually go to the store to check on the store. You have to go there to check on your employees. You have to also be there to making sure you're receiving all your products. So that's the difference, that you can do all of that home. That's the difference between a franchise business, of online business. That's the flexibility that give you. So I just want to say that. So it's always, when we're doing something, that doesn't mean we're going to step away or 3-4 hours from our kids or from our family. We can also be like on the park, walking our dogs and with our kids, and at the same time we can also do this business. Okay, so it's not like you have to say, oh, I'm compromising my whole life. No, that's what we're not looking for. We're looking, as a Jeremiah say, we're looking for time freedom, and together you have to say, okay, time management, what I have to do together. So it's always the skills that provide you, so I just want to say that.
Yeah, I just wanted to add just a little bit about that. Yeah, it's creating the balance between, your family time, your work, and then your business, because you don't want to also neglect your family. They also need to have some time, but they also need to understand, when it's time for them, you will have time for them. But when it's time for do the business, then, they have to understand that you're doing your business. So it's just a matter of compromising, with each other. Okay, Jesse. So the next one.
Okay, so Jeremiah, what are some of the kids benefit your experience from being involved on this business?
Key benefits, quite a bit of key benefits. I think number one is, the person that I'm becoming. Started this business 4 years ago with no social media experience. And a lot of the times people say too, I'm scared of the online space. I don't do social media. I was one of those persons, never done social media before, but the skills are learnable. The skills are learnable, right? And so, I'm all over social media today, but I didn't start that way. So that's one of the benefits, is that, I've evolved as a person, right? My skill set, understanding advertising, understand social media, and so the skill set level, right, is a huge benefit, right? Supplementing our income is another one, right? I was talking to my mom the other day in Jamaica, and I was saying to her, just the cost of living and just how expensive things are, living abroad, and so, I was saying to her, without the business, I don't know how, we would manage, right? Because there's just so much things, right? I don't know. I honestly do not know if someone is watching this and you're working like a job, like let me know like how you're doing it just on just that one income, because I honestly I do not know how how people do it, right? My wife and I, we still work full time, right? But the benefit of just having income coming in from the business and supplementing our income, is priceless. It's taking so much of that stress, off of our head, right? Because there's just so much bills, right? You get your paycheck, and before you get it, it's like where did it go? And it's just really crazy. So that's another huge benefit, right? And also another benefit is that it's a peace of mind going to work that I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. I go into my job and I see people there who have no backup plan, and it's like they have no hope. And you can see it in the expression of their face. A lot of the times people ask me, they're saying, how come, a lot of the time people say, Jermaine, how come you're always happy? You're always smiling. It's a peace of mind knowing that my business is running in the background and my business is growing, and I'm here for a season, right? This is not it, right? And so, but there are other people who do not have that. And the job is the only thing, right? And they have to show up, regardless of their circumstances, right? And if they're frustrated and if they're unhappy and all of these things, it doesn't really matter. They have to show up because they have no backup plan, right? But in the back of my mind, it gives me that peace of mind to say, hey, you know what, even though I may be going through this, right, my business is growing, my business is building. So there's so many, benefits, right, that comes with just, having, this online business, right, from, supplementing our income, the peace of mind, the skill set, the person that you're becoming, the people that you're networking with, that you're meeting, are incredible people, right? We're connecting today, right, all because of the online space. It's just phenomenal, the benefits that comes with it. Yeah.
Wow, well said. Like all of that, kids. Like I don't know, it's just amazing how this business and this community show us and give us, all the benefits, like health, mind health by ourselves, our whole body. We're connecting with other people out there, as you say. We're meeting is like we're meeting for the first time here, but I never have met before all these amazing and wonderful people. We all came up for different backgrounds, for different cultures, and different part of the world, and we're still connecting. I meet Sandy on Calgary convention, and since then we're connecting. We reach each other. I meet also Isabel when we're doing our translation to our translation for the training to Spanish. I meet Isabel there. I meet you now that we're doing this interview. It's just, I don't know. It's just, if you feel happy, I would say, like, I would say we have that time. We feel proud. I would say we feel proud because we know that, yes, we have our, like I'm doing the show, this online business part time as you are. But yes, I have my 9 to 5 job, but I go there happy. People are like, yes, why are you always happy? I'm like, because everything is good. I'm enjoying life. Some people, they cannot do that, or they are not able, because they don't know about this opportunity. They don't know that their life can change and they can have other options. And just to think that you have options, it make you switch. It make you, wow, yes, so you feel comfortable. And that is all about. We all want the same. We were we all want live, but we all want to live the same. Time freedom and financial freedom, and how you get there. So it's that's what it's all about. But yeah, that's amazing.
You wanted to say something, Isabel, or?
Well, something that Jeremiah said that really caught my attention was, how a lot of people, that they go to work, every time you see them, they have this face of, I don't know, of worry, of unhappiness or whatever, because they spend so much time working, and yeah, they don't see a way to pay or to have the money for everything that they need. And something that I never thought about, that he said, that maybe that's why we, or at least I try to always have a smile. Like, people always tell me, like, I love your smile. You're always smiling. And maybe that's because why I do that, because I don't worry. I don't stress so much about, what's going to happen if they cut my hours, or what's going to happen if, like, my husband works outside in construction, and depending on the weather, there's days that they cannot even work, because if it's raining, if it's snowing, he doesn't have work for the day. And so, he comes home and he helps me here with chores or whatever. And we were happy together, even though he's not working. I'm glad that he has time for us, and he has time to be with us, and we make it, a great day. Just enjoying him home, without worrying about, we're not going to have the money that he's losing this day. But maybe, well, I now know that that's why, because we're not so concerned about the money that he's missing, because we have, another plan, because we know that we're going to be okay. So, it's really essential to have that plan B, and always have that in place before you really need it, because you're going to be at peace knowing that you have that, and you don't have to be so concerned about your bills, how you're going to pay for everything in a month. So, thank you so much for sharing, Jeremiah. You really inspire me, and you're making my mind go, like, okay, and now I can see things I didn't really think about before.
Yeah, I just want to add a few more things. So when we talk about other key benefits that we can experience being involved in the business, we can talk about like the global community that we have. That is something that you don't find in other businesses. So the support that we have 24/7 because of being global, you get that emotional support, the technical support, and also the celebrating the milestone that we have. So you always have that support from anyone. And the other thing is, like, you also start growing your connections, because this business is global. So every time, like when we do lives, we have met so many people from different parts of the world, like Australia, Portugal, UK. So just every time we meet new people, and so our connections start to grow. And then when we get the opportunity to travel to like conventions, for example, like Japan, then we get to meet those people that we met online, meet them in person, which is it's even better. Like, for example, I had the opportunity to meet Isabel in Japan, in person, because we do our lives, and we talk like online, like we are right now. But I never like met Isabel in person. So this past Japan convention, we actually met in person for the first time. So that was amazing. The other thing is, when we start the business, like for example, you were saying, before joining the business, you didn't know anything about social media marketing. So this is how it shows, like, this is another benefit that you get, because when we start the business, we don't have anything. We don't sometimes we know a little bit of, or we don't know that much. But as we go through our training, and learning everything, we start getting so many skills, like advertising skills. We work on our mindset, so we start growing as a person. So we can see how we grow from where we were when we started the business to where we are now. So that's another of the key benefits. Um, but many times, like, people only see the financially, because that's what we usually come into the business, because of the financial part of side. But once we start doing the business, we realize that there's so many other benefits that we get from the business, like flexibility, more family time, so many. And I know on your page that I saw that you also got from this business, you were able to purchase your home because of this business. So you want to talk a little bit
Yeah,
about?
so that's yeah, so that was a huge accomplishment for us. I think we just celebrated 1 year this past week, of being in this home, and for the longest time, being in Ontario, getting qualified for a mortgage is almost impossible. That's what I say in my ad, it's almost impossible, right? And so, and our combined income, we had been trying for the longest time and just could not get approved for anything significant to afford anything, here in Ontario. But because of this business, we were able to the supplement our income, and just goes again to the credibility of the business, right? Because we were able to show proof of income, and use that to top up our combined income from our jobs, and was able to qualify for a big enough mortgage. And so now we're proud homeowners, and stuff. So that's huge, right? For my wife, in her own words, it was just like before the business, she was just existing. You know, there was no hope for the future, right? It was just, every day, that's it, right? But now we see where, our dreams, our goals for the future, for ourselves, for our family, where that, is now possible. We see that where it's possible because of this online business and stuff. And so for her, it's just giving her that hope, right? Which adds to her peace of mind as well. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jermaine. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next question.
Sorry. How has this business influenced your thinking about leaving a legacy for your family?
It has made it makes it possible, right? Creating a legacy. That's what we do. That's why we get up every day and go to the job. I mean, everything that we do, is to build a legacy and leave that behind for our family. And so after a while, of maybe working your job, it may seem like it's no longer possible. And so a lot of people, they have given up. This is no longer possible because they have been working many, many years, right, to achieve this goal, to leave behind something for their kids so that they don't have to come, and do the same thing that they're doing. That's the whole idea of doing it, right? And so a lot of people have lost hope, and a lot of people have given up, and they have just accepted that this is going to be my fate. And my children are going to have to come up and carve their own life, their own journey, right? But doing this business, it makes it possible. Right now, we see where that can be possible to leave a legacy, for generations, right? This business, you can grow it to a point where you can pass it on to your family, right? And so that's where my mindset is at right now. That's where my focus is at right now, is that, I want to be the one to break that cycle, and to say, hey, you know what? If my children do come up and work a job, it's by choice, but it's not because it's something that they have to do, right? And so it's definitely, influenced my thinking. Is that I'm working towards something, I'm building something that's not for an employer, right? Because the employer is enjoying their family's legacy is all set, but it's influenced my thinking to know that this is something that I can build, that I can one day pass on to my kids, and that they can pass on to their kids. So yeah, so that's huge.
Yes, yes. And this is one of the biggest benefits that we have, in this business, because you don't get this anywhere else. Like, if you have a traditional business, if you're an owner of any kind of um, traditional business or restaurant or whatever, if for some reason you were to pass, your kids could, yeah, get that business of yours, but they would have to put work, and they would have to put money, and they would have to keep doing all this work, right? But the beauty of our business, that you can pass it to your family, and as long as they keep it active and working, they don't have to do as much. The hardest part has been done by us, and they just have to continue with it. And that's just amazing, thinking that you're not only doing this for you, but you're also creating this legacy for your kids, for your parents, for whoever in your family that you want to leave it to. And that really inspire us to keep working and keep our mindset on making it grow for them. And just like you said, knowing that your kids don't have to worry about their financial situation in the future, because you're taking care of them right now. So it's great that we have this benefit in our business.
Yeah, I just want to add to that is that, if we're talking about, when we're talking about the traditional business, even though, like so many families, they have this traditional business and they want to pass it on to their kids, that doesn't mean that their kids many times they want to continue to continue on the business, their family business. They have other aspirations, so that's not something that usually it could happen. So the other thing is that, there's no flexibility having a traditional business, because you have to be there depending what kind of business you have to be there before you open, and then during the entire open hours, and then after that, closing. So you don't have that flexibility really. You sacrificing, if you have a family, you're sacrificing that time, to have with your family, because you have to be there in your traditional business. um, and the other thing, like if you're working, I like you mentioned, a job cannot be passed into your kids, So that's something that, like you say, you then your kid will have to carve his own life, his own journey. But with this business, having that opportunity of having a legacy for your family is amazing, And even though, for those who doesn't have kids, you can pass it on to anyone. It doesn't have to be only your kids, It could be any member that you decide to pass the business to. Okay, so we're gonna go. You wanted to add something, Jesse, or we go to the next one? Okay. All right. So the next question for you is, what tips would you offer to someone who's considering starting this business?
Start the business. You'll never know, right? Straight, just start the business. If you have been considering it, whatever it is that is hindering you, our business is set up risk free. So you have the ability to come and actually check it out, look at it, do your research, do your homework, get your questions answered and all that before you actually commit to anything. But if you are, maybe like one of us, everything that we have been talking about, time freedom, financial freedom, leaving behind a legacy. If you desire that, those things for yourself and for your family, start the business. The fear, the skepticism, all of those things, we were all there, right? The skills, being on social media, those are all learnable as long as you have a willingness to learn, a desire for change, right? And so if you're considering this business, I think the key is to start. That's always the hurdle that you need to get past, right? The moment you start, you realize that doors begin to open. Opportunities that you could not see before, right? This is faith, right? You step out not knowing, right? You're afraid, but you step out not knowing, and as you step out in faith, trusting, believing, you'll be amazed, right? How much different your life can be in 1 year. But you can't know that unless you actually make that decision and that commitment to start in the first place. So, if you're watching this, I hope that something that, we have said on this webinar can inspire you to say, hey, you know what? I've been looking at this thing for far too long now. I've been contemplating. Some people say I have to pray about it, and they keep praying about it. But at some point, you have to just take action, right? Without action, nothing is going to change, right? So yeah, so just start the business, take that risk. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have arrived to the end of our lives. So we're just going to do a little recap. So we started today to talk about, how we came across to this business opportunity. We also talk a little bit about being skeptical, and what advice we give to those people who are skeptical, or also who have skeptical partners. We also talk a little bit about, for people who say they don't have time, there's usually time. It's just as matter of organizing and balancing, your family time, your business, and your job. So, and sacrificing some things that are not important, for the moment, doesn't mean that it's going to be forever, like it's just for the few couple of years, you're going to have to sacrifice that to be able to enjoy later, with no sacrificing. And then we also talk about the benefits that we experience from being involved in this business. All the different things that, from when we started to where we are right now. We are not the same person. We have grown, and we continue growing. Because we never stop learning. This is the whole beauty of this. We keep learning every time, and that's how we become better. And growing as a person, individually. Like, and also in the business. The other thing that we talk also is about leaving the legacy for the family. So we just want to show you, all the difference, because many times you are on your job, but you don't realize that, until you, like, for example, Jermaine was saying, until we have that wake up call, but why waiting until that waking call happens, so that's what we're trying to do with these lives, is trying to open your eyes and see what is really out there. How can you change that life and not continue working on a job that you really going to that job because you have no option, but there is option. There is a plan B that you can have on the side, which will be able to eventually, leave your job and then be able to enjoy the time with your family and not to worry about, being with financial worries, and then you can pass that to your kids, which is the amazing thing, or to any family member. And like, and the last one, German kind of like recap, what we talk about, and just to give you the opportunity, to open your eyes and to see, the possibilities that you have there. And don't be afraid, if you want to change your life, you have to take action. So, and just take that leap of faith, and just do it. We have a comment. So we have Naida Duque. She say hi. And then we also have Angelina P. Ellis. She say hello, Angela from New York. Thank you for watching, Angela from New York.
Thank you for watching.
Okay. So we just wanna also if you guys want to follow us in our Facebook pages, it is on the screen over here. So if you want to get to know us a little bit better and know more about the business, we also have our website on the screen, that you can register with your name and email address, and then you will receive an invitation to our free webinar, where you will be able to hear about our business plan and more testimonials of business owners. And also, you also get an invitation to a private Facebook group where you will hear and, well, you will see more success stories from members of our community. And also, you get more information about the business. Um, and then we just want to remind you again, we have live webinars every Tuesday and every Thursday, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. And just gonna, if you want to catch the replay, just gonna show you who the host and the panelists were for this past Thursday.
Okay, so this past Thursday, we had Rebecca as our host. She's a buyer and planner. We had May, a health admin assistant, Tina, a registered nurse, and Alma, a registered nurse as well.
Also, part of the panelists last Thursday were Maida, she's an OR nurse, Abesco, she's a former public school teacher, Joyce, a full-time mom, and Jonathan is a registered nurse. So all these people share the history and how to start an online business. And that was last Thursday, August 22. But if you want to have a new one, live is coming up next week. The first one is on Tuesdays. The second one is on Thursday. They're all free live webinar. And let's go and learn how to start your own business. You just have to register in one of our websites and you will have access. We will send you your personal link to have your live webinar.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Jesse. So yeah, so as you see, we are a global community from all over the world, and you can see many people from all walks of life. They're doing the business. So we can see all the different professions that you see there. Isabel, do you want to just explain to them what happened when they register?
Yes, before I do that, we have two more comments on live.
Okay. So we have Jennifer Barnes. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer.
Hi,
Thank you
Jennifer.
for
Thank you for
watching.
watching.
And then we also have Angela Pieli. So she said, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Okay, so I just want to clarify what happens when you register on one of our websites that you see here on the screen. That is only to receive our webinar. That's the business plan, to see if you're interested, if this is a good fit for you, if this is something that would work for you and your family, and you're not committing to anything else. You're not starting the business, but just signing up for the webinar. It's free, no risk, and you have nothing to lose really, so nothing to worry about.
Okay. And we want to thank all the viewers who watched us today. And for those watching the replays, thank you for all your likes, your comments, and your emojis. And for those watching the replay, just tell us where you're watching from and put it in the comments. And of course, we want to thank our special guest today, Jermaine, for coming and sharing his experience with us and with the viewers. Thank you so much, Jermaine.
Thank you so much for being here
Thank you,
and sharing your
Jermaine.
history.
Okay. Until the next episode of Latin Voices. Bye, everyone. Happy Saturday.